Hi guys, working on our lesson 3-7. Guys, the learning target for that is to be able to rearrange linear equations for y equals mx plus b so that you can solve a system by graphing. Well, I'm going to review on this video how to get y equals mx plus b form. Now if you have me, I tell you to set your goal y equals mx plus b. That's what I want my equation to look like at the end, and right now the only thing that's in the right place is the y and the equal sign. The x term has got to go over to the other side. So add 3x, add 3x. That cancels. The 2y comes down. Now on this side I can't actually add 10 and 3x because 3 has an x next to it and 10 does not. But if I look back at my goal is for my x term to come first and my constant, my y-intercept, to come second. So this 10 doesn't belong in this underneath the x. So in my mind I've got to say, okay, I want that to be under where the b is. So I'm going to move the 10 over to here. It's positive, so I'll write plus 10, and the 3x is exactly where I want it to be. Haven't quite met the goal yet. I don't have y by itself, so I've got to divide by 2 under every term. So y equals, now leave that a fraction, 3/2 x, plus, divide that out, that's 5. Here's what we're going to do with that. We're now going to take this equation, we're going to put it on a coordinate plane and graph it. So we're going to start at the y-intercept of 5, and then we're going to go up 3 and 2 to the right. Okay? And then we're going to do that 2 times because we're going to have 2 equations. Okay? So I've got 2 equations here that I'm going to solve for y and then graph. So the first one, y equals mx plus b. That's my goal. Well, x is in the wrong place, so I'm going to subtract it. And I'll get y equals negative x, remember the 5 comes over, plus 5. Okay, graphing that. Remember that there is an invisible 1 between the negative sign and the x, and to make it a fraction I can put it over 1. So I'd be going down 1 and 1 to the right. Still have quite a few of you that don't graph correctly with the correct directions. Most of you put that dot on 5 just fine, that first dot. But I still have a good 1/3 of you, judging by homeworks and quizzes and exit tickets, that do not do the directions correctly from there. So I'm going to, once again, can't be an angel on your shoulder and make you, but you really should write down the direction words next to it until you can get the directions correct. Down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1. Till you get to the edge. Connect. Arrows. And label. Now labeling, don't label it with your y equals that you came up with, because if you made a mistake and you came up with a wrong y equals, it's going to take the grader of your paper, who, let's think ahead to your Regents exams, not going to be me, next year. It's going to take them a while to figure out where you went off the rails unless you label it with the typed equation. So whatever is typed is what you label with, just to make it easier, okay? And I'll be grading your quizzes and tests for the course, so it makes it easier for me to know if you messed up the y equals part. If you label it with the typed equation instead, it's easier for me to see where you went off the rails. Okay, so y equals mx plus b is the goal. And right now 2x is in the wrong place, so I've got to add 2x to get it over to this side. So y equals 2x minus 1. Now, I didn't have to do any more steps than that because I already have y by itself. So I'll go to the -1. The slope is a whole number. We'll make it a fraction by putting it over 1. And it's positive, so I'm going up 1, or up 2, and 1 to the right. Up 2, 1 to the right, up 2, 1 to the right. Don't forget to connect. Arrows. And label with the original typed equation, -2x plus y equals -1. And I'm looking for that cross point, 2, 3. Remember, the x value has to come first. Has to come first. Okay, something special is going to happen on this pair. All right, my goal is y equals mx plus b. Okay, I've got to add 3x to both sides. And I get 4y equals 3x plus 8. Then divide by 4. Keep your slope a fraction, 3/4 x plus 2. So start on my 2, go up 3, 4 to the right, down 3, 4 to the left, and label -3x plus 4y equals 8. Okay, this doesn't feel special or different yet, Mrs. Andrews. Well, we're getting there. Switch colors. Okay, same thing over here. My goal is y equals mx plus b. So I've got to add 6x. And I get 8y equals 6x plus 16. Divide all by 8. Now, 6/8 reduces to 3/4 because they both divide by 2. And 16 divided by 8 is 2. Okay, so we'll go right up into our graph. And let's see, start on 2. Wait a minute, we're starting on the same point. Huh, that's weird. And then the slope says up 3 and 4 to the right. Isn't that what we did on the blue one? Up 3, 4 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Hey, that lands on that dot again. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Hey, what's going on here? -6x plus 8y equals 16. Well, those equations don't look anything alike, except when I solved them for y and got them into, whoops, didn't want to highlight that. When I solved them for y, and simplified that fraction, they were exactly the same. And when I went to graph them, they were right on top of each other. So Friday, last class, we talked about if you got the same slope and your lines were parallel, two separate lines but parallel, that's no solution. When our two lines are directly on top of each other, that is infinite solutions. Infinite solutions. Okay, so on your homework tonight, you're going to be solving for y. In fact, not all the time are you going to solve for y. For example, here's another problem. I'm not going to do the whole thing for the video, but here's a problem where I've got if I write my goal, y equals mx plus b, above the equation, I've already got it in y equals mx plus b form. I don't have to do anything to this. This one, I would have to rearrange, but there's going to be ones on your homework that you don't have to rearrange because it's already in y equals mx plus b form. So on tonight's homework, there's 3 possibilities. One possibility is that you're going to have a solution. You're going to have a solution when you have something like this happen. Y equals 3x plus 5 and y equals negative 1/2 x plus 7. Okay? When your slopes are different, that's going to mean one solution, and your lines will cross at one place. They will form an X, they will cross in one place. Okay, another possibility is that there's no solution. What that looks like is y equals 3x plus 5 and y equals 3x minus 2. These are the same. These are different. That's no solution. When you graph no solution, that's going to look like that, where the 2 lines are parallel. Although I drew this freehand and that doesn't look terribly straight or parallel. Okay, going back to this one, when I go to graph these two, they will cross right there. And they don't go the same direction. And then that last possibility that we learned about today, infinite solutions, that's when I solve, they are identical. Down to the last number, down to every sign, they are identical. Same slope, same y-intercept. And when you go to graph these, you'll graph the first one, and you go to graph the second one, it's going to be right over top of it. That is infinite solutions. Okay? Don't forget, y equals lines, hazy. Y equals 5 would be a horizontal line across the 5. An x equals line would be vixen, vertical line, across the x value. Don't forget those things. Have a good day. See you next time.